everyone! I'm not sure how many of you have a garden that looks like this, but we've all got to start somewhere. I've been given a whole bunch of tomatoes and things from my mom, and I want to put them in this garden, but first I'm going to have to clean it out. It's quite grassy and grown in, so we're going to see what we can do with this.
So I'm pulling out as much of the roots as I can as I go along. And you just take your time. Sometimes you get real hot and you're going to have to get a drink of water. Sometimes I use my claw to loosen the roots. Makes it a little easier to get it out. As you go along, you can shake the dirt off the roots as much as you can. And this is the west side of the house, so it gets lots of good sunlight and heat. The tomatoes are going to love it. It gets a little tricky once you get into the finer grasses, but it's worth it to get it all out.
So getting this done took me about an hour. I still have a bit of garbage to pick up and a couple more weeds to pull. If there's anything I can't get back there, I might just mulch it under, put some newspaper and then some mulch, and that way at least grass won't start growing again in the garden. Next time we come out, maybe we can put some plants in the ground. Good morning. It's been about a week since we last worked on this garden in the back. Today, the first thing I'm going to tackle is this big bush here. It looks pretty when it's got flowers on it. We left it grow for the bees to use the flowers, but now it's blocking the kitchen window. So the first thing I'm going to do this morning is trim that down a bit, and then we can finish planting these 4 tomatoes that have been sitting out here.
What I've done is taken off any branches that don't have any leaves on them at all, and the ones that are growing sideways. So we don't need that. I know that doesn't look the greatest right now, but by trimming out all those top branches, the sunlight will be able to get down into the bottom, and there will be a lot more leaves in the future. As you can see, I've taken the parts that I've cut off that bush back there, and I've used it just as a ground mulch.
So what I've done so far is I've gone through the garden and I've turned it over with the shovel, raked it all out flat, and I've laid out all my tomatoes where I might like to have them. There's a couple of peppers in here as well. And I'm going to be using tomato cages. You can use them over and over again. These are just the metal ones with the 3 prongs on the bottom, and all you do is you press them into the soil. And you can either put your tomato in the middle and have it come out through. I'm going to be using mine attached to the outside so they can share. I'm also just putting in some composted cow manure here. A little treat for them. There are different ways to attach your tomatoes to the cage. I've just got some twine here. Whatever way you do it, you just want to make sure that you don't put the plant too tight. I'm taking the main stalk of the plant and just making a loop. This leaves it room to grow and it won't pinch it.
We do have a hose, but we also have a nice pond in the backyard, so at least the first watering of the plants, I like to use some nice pond water. After planting up the garden, I found some more tomatoes that my daughter had bought, so I put them in containers on either side of the porch door, and they're going to look really cool there. Once you've got your plants in the ground, it's really nice to label them so that you know what they are, especially if you're planting seeds. You can use the cards that came with the plants, or you can sort of make your own out of popsicle sticks. I've got a couple little sticks in there. That way you remember too, if you really like the variety and you want to save the seeds, you can remember what they're called.